A lot of people ask me why I chose to write the book Small Groups with Purpose. And in many ways, I feel like I'm the wrong person to be writing this book. It's interesting that when I felt called into ministry, that I just wrestled with God, because I thought, if you're calling a pastor, he needs to be able to read a lot, he needs to write, he needs to speak in public, and I had none of those attributes in my life at that time. Matter of fact, schooling was hard for me because I have a learning disability, and so there was many things that the world told me why I couldn't do what stereotypically looked like what God was calling me into. But then through my journey of about 7 years, God gave me this verse after I was just exhausted of wrestling with him, to be honest with you. It was 1 Corinthians 2, 4, and 5. And it says that I didn't come to you with my wise and persuasive words. This is Paul talking. But he came to you by the power of the Holy Spirit. And what's encouraging about that is that I didn't need to have the wise and the persuasive words, but I needed to rely on God's power. And I look at how Jesus chose the 12 disciples. He didn't look for the pretty people. He didn't look for the who's who of Jerusalem. He didn't look for the wealthy people. He didn't even look for the biblically literate people, who would have been the Pharisees and Sadducees. He looked for the people that were the most available. And I learned so quickly that God doesn't want my ability, He wants my availability, which started me on my journey that I hope you'll kind of thumb through as you read the pages of the book, to learn that you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be available to lead a small group ministry. So through this whole book, through this journey, through the pages, we've captured our learnings at Saddleback Church on how we went from a church of about 260 groups to north of 3,500 adult small groups that are working on balancing the Great Commission and the Great Commandment, on how that we've exceeded we have more people in small groups on a weekly basis than we have on our weekend service, and a lot of other things that may seem like a wow piece. But the great thing is that no matter what size of church you're in, each one of these principles are transferable. I've used them when I've worked on smaller staff churches, and I've used them at Saddleback Church. So I just want to encourage you, as you read through this book, don't get wowed by the parts of Saddleback Church, but just know that God's called you on a journey that will take you to places that you never thought you could, as long as you are available.